Good morning. Welcome to the Business Treasure Mwasize Mwatia. Yesterday, we looked at a whole different business, especially Abachala, our Wicks. And today, it's a different story altogether. Have you ever imagined, since you go to the spa, you go to this dinner, and it remains memorial? Today, we have the signature person. That is Nancy from Iguru Candles. Agenda kubatu bulira kando ya business ya kando etambula etya bani abasinga kubanga bazitwala ate namwe njagala musindika ebiwoozo nga mukozesa 07445 njiddamu 0746405060 musindika ebibuuzo mukyala mulungi nnyo. Well, let us welcome our guest. You're welcome, Nancy.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you for having me. Thank you, and you too.
Which part of the country do you come from?
Oh, I come from Rukujiri.
How do they greet good morning? Because our viewers.
So Rukujiri is mixed with Bachiga and Banyankwe Batamamchiga.
Okay.
So Bachiga say Mudire Muta.
Mudire Muta.
Yes.
And then I respond.
And then you say Tulireje, Ninga Ndireje for singular.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if we are many? If
you're many, you say Tulireje. If it's just two, you say Ndireje. But if you want to be brief, you say Nije.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's your best childhood memory, Nancy?
My best childhood memory is Christmas.
Wow. What happened?
I loved Christmas growing up, mostly because me and my parents and my siblings were at home in the village, and my father was in Kampala hustling. But we knew that every Christmas he would come and he would come with gifts. He would come carrying gifts. So we always anticipating Christmas, and when he was around, it was really massive.
Wow,
yeah.
So memorable.
Yeah.
Very interesting. For us, we are so happy to have you today. And why did you choose the candle business and not anything related to probably construction?
Yeah, I see how that can come up. Well, candles for me is really personal.
Okay.
How I got into the candle business was I was on a personal journey. Sometimes I like to think about it as rock bottom.
Okay.
So the business started in 2020, and I was newly married. It was lockdown, which meant that we were home a lot. We were not going anywhere. So I was newly married, and I was excited about marriage and family. So I was trying to conceive because you're home, you're having a lot of sex, so you aren't sweating. And so it didn't happen. After it didn't happen for a while, I said, what's happening? What's going on? So secretly and quietly, I went to see a doctor, and I said, but doctor, I'm worried. What's going on? We've been home, a lot of sex, so what is happening? The doctor said, do this, refusing. Then after he told me things to do and it didn't work, I went back and said, no. What you told me to do, I did, and none of it worked. So what really is the issue? Until he said, okay, I think you're having issues conceiving, so some sort of infertility. So for me at that point, I was very young. So I didn't understand what do you mean? I'm just 25, I'm just 26, I think I was 26. I'm just 26, what do you mean I'm struggling to conceive? So I just went really low. And because of that, it affected my job. Performance at work became worky,
and the
pressure. Not so much pressure because nobody was putting pressure on me. It was really just a personal sort of thing. So I was fighting. I was fighting battles with myself inside. At that point, I not even talked to anybody about it. I was mostly asking myself questions without answers. So I was struggling at work, and then I decided to let me resign. And at the beginning, it was more like, let me take a break. Let me take a break and figure out what to do in the meantime. So because I would spend nights crying, and then the next day you're at work late, you're not performing, you're not meeting deadlines. I said, no, let me take a break. This is all too much. So when I took a break, I told my husband, I need a break. It was COVID, so they had also cut our salaries, so that was a good excuse. I said, no, they've cut our salaries, they're not paying. I'm tired of this job. So he thought that I just needed a break and maybe a new job. But in my mind, I knew this is not for me. I don't want to work again. I don't want to go back. So while he was saying, send your CV, we get a job, I was like, I really don't think I want to go back to work. But I didn't
Yeah.
tell him that.
Yeah.
So I started with myself saying, if I don't want to go back to office, what can I do? And the other option was obvious, business.
Yes.
So I started asking myself, which business? Then because I was home, I had got some candles as gifts, as wedding gifts.
Yes.
So I started burning them. And then I loved the way those candles made me feel. But the problem was I didn't have a job. So they became very expensive. You know
Yes.
how candles burn out after a while. So, and because they were sort of addictive for me, I liked the feeling they gave me. I liked how they made it easy for me to sleep through all that struggle. Yeah. So I made it as like, oh, I love these. So I started looking for them. But then when I went to supermarkets, 150,000 shillings, 50,000, she was like, how can I get cheaper candles? So I started to look for a solution about how to get very nice and cheaper candles on the market. And that is how I got into it. And when I started making them, I was like, who else is doing this? Is really nice. Who else is doing this? And I found there's really few other people that were doing it. And that is how I got into candles.
I just love your honesty and
Yeah.
sharing that story. Not very many people would even be comfortable to really open up, but I'm very sure that there is a viewer that is watching us and very encouraged.
I hope
How
so.
much money did you start with at this point?
For me, it was less than 1,000,000 shillings. I don't remember exactly how much because at the beginning I was then doing bookkeeping, but it was less than 1,000,000 shillings because it was, I think it was after a long time and I had no money. And that time I couldn't even come to my husband to tell them that, oh, you see, I don't want to go back to work yet. I need some capital to start a business. Besides, I didn't even know that he would believe in this business.
Yeah.
It wasn't the ordinary kind of thing. It was just me with my dreams and my vision. So I had some savings and that is how I started. But it wasn't more than 1,000,000 shillings.
I love that. You
Yeah.
know, candles do have different scents in terms of, you know, lemon,
Yeah.
lavender, and the
Yeah.
ocean. What kind of candles did you start with at that time?
So at the time, I was very excited. When the business idea got into my mind, I started reading a lot about it. I started watching a lot of content about it. So I started with so many scents. So when I went into the market, I was like, what's there? So I was like, oh, there's strawberry, oh, there's coffee, oh, there's vanilla. So I was trying to do everything at once. But later as I went, so at the beginning, I had vanilla, I had coffee, I had lavender, I had the basics, the usual.
Yes.
But as we went, I realized that having so many scents at the same time, especially at the beginning, was very hard on the capital. There was not enough money to stock so many scents for so many pieces at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So I started with many, but later I started reducing them. Right now we have only 8 cents, and this is 3 years later, only 8 cents.
Which scent sells more than the other?
Well, for us, the best seller is the raspberry butter. The raspberry butter is a blend of raspberry, the fruit, cream butter, and vanilla. That is our best seller.
Wow.
Yeah.
At what point now you are doing all this from home, right?
Right.
At what point did the business shift from your home to get a physical place?
Well, funny you should ask that because we haven't completely shifted. I'm still making the candles from
transition.
home, but the difference now is that now we have a sort of like a showroom,
Yes.
an outlet
Yeah.
that is really branded as. We have so many other outlets and stockists and distributors around town. There's usually some Iguru in almost all the shops, but we have an outlet and it's not so far from here. It is just Chisasi on Bahai Road at White Horse Mall. That is where we are. Yeah.
Nancy, very many people struggle to come up with the business names.
Monange. Well, the business name, first of all, is Iguru Candles. Iguru, in my language, Amamchiga, means heaven. So when I was starting the business, I was thinking, what am I doing these candles for? What am I hoping that my customers take away from these candles? What am I offering? I needed them to have the feeling of heaven. When you light these candles, you feel so at peace. Because when I got the business concept, that is what I was looking for. I was looking for something to make me peaceful and comfortable, not to be anxious about all my worries and all my troubles. So I was looking for something that meant this, when you go to this place, which is heaven for all of us, the Christians, you feel peaceful. all your worries and troubles will stay somewhere else. So, and I didn't want it to be English because heaven would be so obvious. So I just turned it into the local language.
Wow, I'm loving that. Even the colors that we are watching on the TV, we can see that oranges and all the different colors. How do you come up with these colors? White, because I can see white, there is peach and maybe cream or blue somewhere.
So the colors are really just the usual colors. So me, I follow the kind of feeling I want this to do. So our candles also have names, the scented candles. So they all have names. While it is lavender rose, I don't call it lavender rose. We call it peaceful, because that is the sort of effect it will give you when you light that candle. The lavender rose, it is calming and relaxing.
Every candle.
So yes. So the purple for that candle, because lavender is purple, the flower. Yeah. So that is what I'm trying to achieve. So when I make it purple, I'm trying to make it look like the flower of the oils that I've used. Then, for example, the bamboo coconut is called cheerful. Because of the energy and the sugar that is in that candle. Yeah. When you have that candle going in your home, you have energy, you're able to be productive, to work, to do everything. So it makes you cheerful. That's why I gave it yellow. It is yellow. So for that kind of bright energy. Then the coffee caramel, that is coffee brown for like the coffee, the obvious kind of color choice. Yes.
Wow, I'm loving that. I know she has a beautiful smile. But Nasi, who are your biggest consumers? Are they hotels, spas, or particular business?
Well, our biggest consumers are people like you and me. People at home, usually young women trying to create a beautiful space back home, mostly because they are very excited or enthusiastic about aesthetics and home decoration, but also the scent of the home, generally everything nice and beautiful life, or because they are stressed about something and they just need to relax. They just, like the way I started in Two Candles, that is how I started in Two Candles, because I grew up in a very humble home. There was never candles anywhere. I saw those things later. So it wasn't something that I had grown into. It was all new to me. So the only reason I got into candles was to help take care of myself, basically. It was self-care. So either people that are trying for self-care, or because at the end of the day, even when I supply the spas or the hotels, their final consumer is that kind of person. If I supply in the supermarkets, the person most likely to pick that candle has that thing at the back of their mind. So while they are the wholesale channels are my biggest sales point, now I think about who are their customers. Yeah. Yes.
You know, I was looking at the candles that you made, and I feel there is love given to each candle. Tell us the mind behind that.
Well, I make those candles from home, and I make them by hand, and I make them in very small batches with all the attention that they need. So on the day that I am making candles, usually it is the first week of the month. So on that week when I'm making candles, it is mostly, this is all that matters. I am pouring my heart out into this candle because I want you, I need you to enjoy it and love this candle as much as I do. I put in everything in those candles, and I hope that when you buy the Iguru candle, you feel exactly the way I'm feeling when I'm pouring them.
Wow, I'm loving this. At what point did you now grow the business and become more intentional? Because transitioning from a full-time job to now being self-employed, how was that for you?
Well, when I was starting the business, I didn't know that it would become what it is today. It was mostly like a hobby, but also I was bored. I needed to keep busy. And at the beginning, it was mostly because, okay, since we have these issues, it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of so let me get something that won't need a lot of my mind, so something that I can do and still be stress-free and be okay while I try for fertility treatments, because that would be draining, my doctor had told me. So at the beginning, it wasn't anything really. But the more, when I did it, and the first time I was launching, when I told my husband, I'm taking this serious, but I want to start with social media because there's no capital, first of all, but also I'm not sure that it will work. And then he was like, okay, if you're going to make it into a business, you need to do it the business way. And that meant registration, that meant bookkeeping. And for me, it was like, but this is so small. Why are we doing all this? I don't need to. And then he's an accountant. He was like, no, even if it is small, you will need it at some point. So if you really believe in this business, do it. Unless you don't believe in it, then don't. So for that kind of formality aspect came from his advice. It wasn't something that I thought about. At the beginning, I was like, oh, this is just, well, I'm just doing this for fun.
God bless supportive husbands.
Right.
I'm now curious to understand, even the viewers that are watching us, was there someone that inspired you along the way? Because growing the candles from a smaller number to a bigger number and selling them wholesale and in bulk, was there someone that played a pivotal role?
Yes, competition.
Competition.
Yes, our competition made it such that the industry is there and the customers are there and they would survive. At the beginning, it was mostly, who will buy these candles? I have not seen these things anywhere before. But the deeper I dug into research, so I started asking questions like, who else is doing this?
Yes.
Who else is producing candles? So I found there's a few people in the business that were already doing it. And then I knew that because they've survived for this long, at that time there was only one person that had been in the business for over 10 years. I was like, if they've done this for 10 years, I surely can do it. So that was one, but also it was social media. I went on social media and I started searching for candles. So my whole content feed was full of candles. I started following whoever was making candles in the US, in the UK, because those countries, the candle market is up and highly saturated. So I started looking for those brands that were doing, how were they doing things? And that is how I got inspired. And I knew this is it. While it is new and virgin in our country, we are getting there. Yeah.
Well, the other day, so Baby Gloria's pre-cake testing, and there were so very many candles, and I said, oh, the Ugandans are really embracing this. And I say, I would like us to come back on the, because all your pictures of the candles show intentionality, and these are not pictures you picked from Pinterest. But for now, I would like the audience to still engage them in case someone has a question. Chisindike, this number 0 well, let's read some of the questions that have come in right now. Someone says, how did her husband and family support her? Did he support the idea or told her to go back and work? I think that's still on the earlier point.
Well, I think I've been blessed with the best husband. From the get-go, he didn't understand what I was trying to do, but he believed in me. It wasn't about the candles or the business. It was about me. I think at the back of his mind, he knew that whatever I set my mind to do, I would do it. So when I was looking through business ideas, he sent me, the moment I told him, I'm going to do business, I'm not going back to work. You do the employment, me, I'll do the business. And he sent me something, I remember it was a PDF of Uganda Investment Authority. I think they do it annually, where they make a list of all possible businesses that you could do to thrive in the economy. And that time there was candle making. But the candle making was the local kind of candles. The ones of, I think it's 200 shillings.
Yes.
Those ones. That was there. So they were telling you, if you invest this much, you need this machine, da 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 da. But that is not what I wanted. I wanted something better, something more, something aesthetic, something luxury. So I was like, okay, I'll use this knowledge of the costing and everything, but now my candles are not going to be that. They're going to be the luxury kind of type, because that is the sort of market that I'm trying to achieve. So while he believed in me, he also shared material that he knew would help. Yes. Yeah.
That's such a sweet story. Anyway, let me continue to read the question. Someone has said, I am curious to know her first month of making candles. Did she use saucepans or what did she use?
Exactly, I used saucepans. I used saucepans. When I was starting, okay, before I launched to like sell anything, when I was really just starting to get into it, first of all to learn, I used things in my kitchen. I used saucepans, and for the wick is that thread, or some people use the wood, but the wick type at that point, because I didn't have any thread in the house, guess what I used? I used my husband's shoelace. As like I used it, it did work, of course, because it burnt out faster than the wax.
Yeah.
But that is what I used. So I used saucepans, I used cups, I used glasses, drinking glasses, because now I didn't have jars, I didn't have vessels.
Yes.
And I didn't know where to even get these things. And I didn't know what was right or what was wrong.
Yes.
So yeah, I used saucepans.
I'm loving that. To the next question, the person is saying, thank you for the guest. Her smile looks like my sister's smile. Anyway,
Yeah.
what I need to know is, how can I also be able to start such a business?
Okay, so I'm always excited when someone wants to join the business, because
Wow.
more than anything, I need this industry to grow.
Yeah.
I need the awareness to expand, to grow the market.
Yeah.
So I offer candle making classes
Okay.
in 2 types. Group classes, which usually happen once every 3 months.
Okay.
Or you can come with your own group, usually like 10 people and above.
Okay.
And that class is only 220,000 shillings.
Okay.
Then I also have the business class. The business class is you're coming to say, I want to start a candle business and I want to learn. So the business class is 750,000 shillings, and it comes with a starters kit. It comes with 24/7 consultation. I could share my suppliers list, so things like that, but that's only for the business class. Then also, if you're in employment and you're saying, I don't have the time and I'm not really so excited about candle making, but I would like to join the business, we can make for you the candles. We can be your suppliers on private label or white label basis. So you come and say, this is the brand I'm trying to create. So let us pick scents, jars and vessels, everything. Let us brand your brand. So I make the candles for you, and you just brand and concentrate on the marketing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Next to the next question, the person is saying, oh, thank you so much, business treasure. My question is, I like fast money. Can the candle business work for me?
Yes. The candle business will most likely work for you because it is high margins.
Okay.
It is high margins because of the value you add to it also. Because if it's not luxury enough, not very many people would be willing to pay highly for it. So you need to be strategic in your pricing, but also in your product development. The candle business, while it is new, you need to do a lot of, teaching people about candles in general and what you're trying to do.
Yes.
But the margins are higher and the market exists. You just need to do your customer segmentations properly, and that is why I would advise that you come for consultation, and generally let's just chat and see what else we can do for you.
Okay, here's another question coming in. But normally very active. Okay, here's another question saying, thank you so much, our guest. I would like to know the challenges you encountered while doing the business.
Well, challenges have been so many and so very shocking. I come from a business background. My parents are both business people. Mostly traders, but yeah, I grew up seeing them doing business. So I thought it was going to be easier. I can do this because at some point, vacation, holidays, I would go and work with them in their shops. So I knew it was going to be. I've done this before.
Yeah.
I just didn't know that now the kind of business I was doing was different. I was doing entrepreneurship. I was building something. I was building a brand. So it came with a lot of, and then I was building a brand in an industry that is almost nobody knows about.
Yes.
So there's not so many people to learn from. And I was struggling to get answers for all my questions. My biggest challenge, especially at the beginning, was sales. At the beginning, 3 years ago, I would go to the markets because I was going a lot into the markets to go and meet my customers and try to engage with them. So when I went to the markets, I spent the whole day explaining what my product was. And even after I had explained a lot, they still wouldn't buy. They'll say, oh, I will come back. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I will come back. First of all, because they thought they were too expensive, because why would I buy a candle at 30,000 shillings? That's our cheapest candle, at 30,000 shillings. But also, I've never seen this really. What does it do again? Make me relax. How? Is it medicine? So it was, there's a lot of teaching everybody and zero returns. And also at the beginning, I was struggling with product development. At the beginning, the candles were failing to work. honestly.
Failing to
They were not doing what they were supposed to do.
the relaxation.
The relaxation, but mostly the scent. I would make a candle, and you want that scent to come, but you're buying and there's nothing. You're like, so I was also struggling to know what is it supposed to do.
Yeah.
But then also at some point, I was struggling with capital. At some point, I knew that because candle making materials were very expensive, at least the ones that I was trying to use in my candles, I needed them to be organic and natural, and that meant higher costing.
Yeah.
So it meant that I needed to have some more capital. But then I wasn't also sure if I put this money in these candles, let's say I borrowed the money, would it how would I get out the return, or would someone's money die with these things? So my biggest problems and challenges at the beginning was sales, but also product development. But right now my biggest challenge actually is still keeping up stock. Right now the demand is higher than my supply. So I've also had to look into investors and things like that to expand.
Wow, here's another question. I think it will be our last. How does she get profits? Because her packaging materials look so expensive. No, those are our viewers.
I'm so glad you like the packaging. But I can guarantee that the margins and the profits in candle making are there, and they are much. But you just need to do, I'm a cost accountant by profession. So I do my own costing, and usually there's a formula that I use to arrive at my price that is so comfortable to such that I make price, I make profit, but I'm also able to give back to society and my community. Yeah.
Well, back one more time, looking at what is one of those experiences that ever happened in business that left you mind blowing and let you learn from it a great deal?
Well, what I can think of is when my products, because now I distribute in supermarkets, but one time my products were thrown off the shelf in Master Supermarket, the one in Chinda on that Bokoto Road. So I supplied them, and after a while I went back to ask for money, because where is the money? Usually they pay on consignment. What they sell, they pay for. So one time I would, as you just walk in sometimes to check on your shelf to see how are things going. So I went, and the candles were not on the shelf. So I thought they were sold out. So for me, I went to say, hey, the payment, because the candles are not on the shelf, only need to be hit by the candles have been seated in the warehouse because UNBS came and they chased them off the shelf because of the Q mark. Yeah, I wasn't standardized. So they, instead of the supermarket telling me we have a problem with your products, they kept quiet and kept them for months, for a long time. So imagine your stock is kept somewhere else where you think it is sold, and that means that you're happy. You're happy. You're excited. Yeah, the money is coming. While you think you're even counting on that money sometimes, only to find out that no. For 3 months they've been not sold because we had to take them off.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
But what is the winning side of you as a person that keeps you going?
What keeps me going is that first of all, I have two strong strengths about me that I'm very sure about. Is one, it's easy for me, not easy, but it's not so, it's easy for me to start from scratch.
Okay.
I have something about me that I can start from anywhere at any point and go. Wow. And then I also I don't fear going down. Like, I don't fear that, oh, I've been up here, what will happen when I go here? So that's the thing about me. I can start at any point and grow from there. The other thing is that if I am passionate about something or someone, I put my mind to it, I will make it work. Late nights, a lot of research, a lot of anything. So the good things about me is that I make everything work. If I like something, I make it happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel you're someone who has decided to be humble and humility, clothe yourself with humility.
Yeah. I do. I wear humility like a sleeve of my coat.
Wow.
Yeah.
What would be a message to business owners out there?
Well, business owners in general or candle makers?
You can take it step by step.
Well, for business, people who are in business or are trying to be business,
oriented.
Yeah, I would only tell you to be patient. There's a season for everything. And in business, what I've learned is sometimes you're high, sometimes you're down. It can be in sales, it can be in marketing, it can even be in things like standardization, the back end of business. So my advice is to be patient with whatever you're doing and then consistent. All you have to do is make sure that you are growing a few steps, maybe a few inches per day. As long as it is happening, it is okay. You'll get there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you want to still, was that a summary for all the businesses or?
Yeah, that was a summary for all the businesses.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. And just to close it up, because we are still enjoying you on the show, this is the very, very last one of its kind. Was there a moment when you felt like giving up in business? Because this happens to all business owners.
Yes, it happens to all business owners. While I have had low moments, honestly, a lot of them, I can't say that I've reached a point where I've said I'm giving up. I have had moments where I say, will this work? Am I on the right path? But usually I'm quick to answer myself and say, hey, we've moved this far. We've grown this far. We've distributed this far. We have people looking for us now, just from the internet out of the blue. I can't stop now.
Wow.
But I've asked my question, will this work? Am I doing the right thing? Although I don't think I've reached the point where I say that enough is enough. No, and I hope never to.
All right, Nancy, I don't know, but the viewers watching us and saying, oh, did at some point, did at some point what you had desired for come forth, especially in the motherhood direction you had said with earlier?
Did it
the
work?
motherhood? Did you start the journey of motherhood?
I started the journey of motherhood because for me it starts from the hospital. But I can't say, I'm not yet there. I'm still in the struggle. The only difference right now is that with the candles and the business and everything, I have accepted and I have decided to use the options available to me, which is seek assistance in reproduction. So I'm still looking for babies, but I also have a lot of faith that they will come. They may not come the natural way for me, like everyone else, but they will come because science has made it such that we have options these days. And